Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me here on Wave Now. I'm Myra and sorry. Hope you guys are having a good Tuesday so far. We are going live to Churchill Downs, excuse me. I haven't had my full cup of coffee yet. I'm trying to wake up this morning, but we are getting a look at Woodford Reserve's new 2024 Kentucky Derby bottle. They're started, so let's listen in.
Property, and in this way, it's a huge way for us. So just outside our windows, we are wrapping up finishing touches on our nearly $200 million renovation and reimagining the heartbeat of our racetrack, which is the paddock project. Once complete, this project will change the way everybody perceives the racetrack, views our equine and human athletes within the paddock ring with more platforms, more viewing areas, but also transforms the views of the majestic twin spires that are in the background now of the saddling ring, which we couldn't see just a couple of years ago. So the team couldn't be more excited to unveil the finishing touches on this project in just less than 2 months, and of course, right before our opening of our spring meet. Every Kentucky Derby is special in its own unique way, as many of you know. However, this year seems just a little bit more special, a little bit more magic as we celebrate our 150th anniversary of the most exciting 2 minutes in sports. So Kentucky Derby week and the preceding 2 or 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, is such an exciting time, a time of fun and excitement for our entire community, and our entire team is hard at work to create and deliver these extra special experiences, just as we do every year. The Kentucky Derby is the essence of what Churchill Downs does, and it's our biggest gift to our community is the Kentucky Derby. So we're only 60 days out from the 150th running of the Kentucky Derby presented by Woodford Reserve, and we are looking forward to welcoming everybody back to the start of our spring meet, which is April 27th, exactly 1 week before the Derby. So I'm here today. I just wanted to say how proud I am of our partnership that we've created and continue to grow with Brown-Forman and Woodford Reserve. Many of team members are here today. So we all know that bourbon and horse racing are a perfect match, right? So we figured that over the years, and Woodford Reserve has made it even that much more special. So we have 2 world-class companies that are partnering together to share these 2 passions of bourbon and horse racing. Very excited to reveal this year's Derby artwork, as you can see here on display today. Joining me today in addition to the many members of Woodford Reserve, is also a special guest to tell us about the creation of that artwork. So at this time, let me now turn it over, and I'm honored to introduce the Vice President and Brand Director of Woodford Reserve, Ms. Tracy Johnson. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mike. This is personally my 4th Derby bottle release. And I have to say, every year, your team is so gracious hosting us. And this year is no exception. We've actually never been in the director's room, so this is amazing. So, forget about the construction. We're in a beautiful place today. So, I love this day. You said it, Mike, that this really kicks off Derby season. And the other thing it allows us to do is to celebrate this partnership between Woodford Reserve and Churchill Downs. And that's exactly what we're here to do today. And for the 150th anniversary, I think we've stepped up our partnership quite a bit. For the first time, Churchill Downs and Woodford Reserve has partnered with the same artist. So that's Mr. Wiley Cottle from Lexington, Kentucky. You will hear from him in just a moment. And, we caught wind of Wiley quite a while ago on social media. And he has this very distinctive rose pattern that is in a lot of his artwork, and you're going to see that in his wardrobe in just a moment as well. So what better way for us to celebrate the 150th anniversary of the Run for the Roses than with a Kentucky artist and someone who's very well known for this rose pattern. So Wiley's creation this year is called Adorned in Roses, that you see behind me, and it is simply beautiful. Putting it on the bottle, I'm sure it will really stand out on shelf, in restaurants, back bars, and it'll be a welcomed addition to anybody's collection because we know we've got a lot of collectors out there. So with that, please help me welcome Wiley Cottle.
Hi, I'm Wiley. I painted that. So I'm originally from Cynthiana, Kentucky, a Kentucky native. I live in Lexington now. And I've always been interested in art. I've been painting and drawing since I was a little kid. My parents tell this story that when, before I could read and write, I could draw a train coming over a hill in perspective. I've never seen that drawing. I don't think it's a true story, but it's a good one. But yeah, when I was in college, I really kind of got the ball rolling on large scale art and defining what my artistic style was. I was known on campus as the chalk guy, and I would run around campus and just vandalize buildings and sidewalks anywhere I could. And I got the name the chalk guy on the campus of EKU. And after I had graduated, I got some inquiries about doing murals. And I started painting, people's logos and businesses' titles on the sides of buildings. And that kind of got the ball rolling on more creative murals. And one of the very first murals I ever created was in Cynthiana, Kentucky. And it was of the racehorse Authentic, which won, I think, Kentucky Derby 146. But Authentic was born in Cynthiana at Spendthrift Farms, and they wanted a mural of Authentic on the side of a wall in Cynthiana. And they asked me to do it. And this was kind of one of my first very Kentucky-themed murals. I never really painted a racehorse before. And when it came time to start designing this mural, I was asked to paint the horse with the garland of roses. And I liked that idea, but I thought it would be a little more exciting to have the horse racing. And of course, the horse doesn't wear the garland when it runs. And I thought, how can we incorporate roses? So instead of the background being maybe Churchill Downs or the racetrack, I had the background be just roses, just like you see in this artwork, but all red. And that was the first time I had painted these roses before. And I just really, really loved the way that had looked. And since then, I have just adapted those roses into all forms of the artwork that I do. You can see them in murals that I paint and canvas pieces. And man, I am so glad I started painting so many roses because it led me to here. It led me to painting the official artwork for Woodford Reserve and Churchill Downs for Kentucky Derby 150, which is such a milestone number and completely unfathomable to me. I was asked to do this back in January of last year, so about 15 months ago. And we spent a lot of time talking about the design for this and kind of going back and forth if, Churchill and Woodford should do one artwork or do two. And we decided on two that should be cohesive. And, by the time we had settled on these designs, there was, not a huge time left before we needed to meet the deadline to get these bottles in production. But that is the way I love to work, which is like 16-hour days and go full goblin mode and just like hunker down and barely sleep. And I feel like that always creates my best work when I'm really, really focused and dedicated. And I'm just so proud of what I've created here. The multicolored roses, I think, are my favorite part because the roses are still this traditional part of the Kentucky Derby, but the multicolor have these special meanings in them. There's a nod historically when the roses were originally pink and white that were given to the winning horse. And then I've made up these kind of golden roses to commemorate 150. The red roses for the roses we give to the horse now, and the blue roses, which are a big part of my artwork nowadays. I do a lot of cerulean roses, as you can see. And then, of course, the horse being covered in the traditional red roses, too. So, yeah, it's all about roses for me. And I just want to say thank you all so much. I'm so, so excited to see this bottle. I haven't seen it yet, and it looks amazing, and I can't wait to see it on the shelves. I think that's all I've got to say. So thank you all so much.
Amazing. Thank you for that story. And I did not know that about the rose colors. So that's awesome. Thank you for that. That'll be a talking point for us. So again, a wonderful canvas for us. And I just also want to thank the Woodford team and the project team. You mentioned this was started more than 15 months ago, and it takes a village to create a project like this. So many of the team members are here. And when you guys see the bottle up front, you'll notice that there's some gold foil involved in the label and some raised lettering. So really some nice additions for 150. Okay, so now I'd like to ask our master distiller, Elizabeth McCall, and our master distiller emeritus, Chris Morris, to come forward. We can't start Derby season without a toast, right? So I'm going to hand it over to them.
We have to.
We'll take those.
Well, always.
This is hard to believe, the 25th year that Woodford Reserve is the first and only official bourbon of the Kentucky Derby. And 25 years ago, we had our first Derby bottle. It simply had the logo of Churchill Downs on it. And what a journey we've been on.
Yeah, so it's wonderful evolution. And so we're really excited today to kick off our Derby season with a bottle adorned in roses. And what better way to celebrate this very special running of the 150th Kentucky Derby. So I would please ask you all to join us as we raise a glass and we toast to kicking off this Derby season as we look forward to celebrating the best of Kentucky in just 60 days. So cheers, everyone.
Cheers. And that is the end of the press conference.
Yes. So I was going to say, once you're done enjoying your Woodford bourbon, we are free to talk, take pictures. Wiley's here to talk and take pictures. So have fun and enjoy. Thank you all.